Hi guys, this is Tara. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to work on something that can be used as a really cool expandable pocket holder for your junk journal, or it can also be used in a practical way as a holder for your like your decorative stash, or even you can make it in different sizes, so even utilize it as a holder for your fuller ephemera. Okay, I've also used them to hold like my stash items that I've made. You might notice a little difference today. I changed out my mat for the video because I could not get my light focused in the right spot to not blind my subbies, so I decided I had better move out the glass mat. I miss it, but you know, it's okay. I got my good old Westcott here, and that'll be what I use for now unless I figure something else out. But I need this light. It's pretty dark in this corner if I don't have it. So, okay, so let's get started. What I have with me today that you'll need are your scissors and your bone folder, unless you don't have one, and you can use your scissor handles. We've got our pencil to mark. Yes, I'm going to measure. And we've got some glue. Okay, so I have a selection of paper. This is just a prototype just so you guys could see what we're going to make. Okay, I have done two separate templates for you to see. This is made from an 8.5 by 11, so just a regular size. I used cardstock. You can use copy paper, but it's easier with cardstock. I've tried it the other way. This stays together longer, and with this one, this is a 12 by 12. As I believe I mentioned in the title, you can use up your 12 by 12 pads. Okay, so here we go. I have chosen a couple of pages of, because I wanted to make both kinds. I needed some new folders for my ephemera, and I also needed a couple of these for my junk journals. So as I said, you can make them with the 8.5 by 11. If you want a smaller one, you can make it with the 12 by 12 with the larger one. If you want, you can actually take two 12 by 12s. I have done this and made a really big one. Or you can make something that's just a sideways fold with a couple of snips and make like this. I've done these as well. Okay, so that's with the 12 by 12, just being folded over. Maybe I'll show you that today if I have time. And super easy and super practical and usable. They're really practical for your junk journals as well, because I usually glue them in, and you could of course make them a floating folder, but I usually glue them into either the front or the back cover, and I fill them with like journal cards and tags and maybe extra paper, because they fold out, and you can have them fold out kind of as far as you want, depending on how many folds you give them. But yeah, so I had to tear those off. So I'm going to go ahead and do an 8.5 by 11 first, and then I will show you. And I'm just going to kind of do a mass make on these today. So I'll do one of the 12 by 12 and one of the 8.5 by 11, so you can see both, and I'll give you the measurements, and then I'll go ahead and just make them. Okay, so this is super easy, you guys. This is how you make your template. Lay out your page in a horizontal pattern, okay? Or what your measurements are going to be is 4 inches from the top of the page toward the middle, okay? And then you're going to measure in 2.5 inches on each side. And so once you've made your template, all you have to do is then draw yourself the T, and you just take your scissors and trim that out. Okay, you're gonna see these are really easy, and yeah, you can make them more complicated. I mean, you can get really, I've done different types that had like even done them with a flap, so that they had I could do a policy closure on them, and those are cute for my journal. But this, I really needed some more to put ephemera in, and I thought, you know what? I had mentioned these to you guys on a video I did a couple of weeks ago, and I thought I'll go ahead and show them how I make mine. There are different people who make them different ways out there. This is kind of, I think this is kind of similar to what Tina might do. I'm not sure. I've never seen her make them, but I've seen them in her, like in her DigiKits. And you cut them out and use them for your DigiKit. So now what you're going to do after you get everything cut, this area here is a little longer than this area, and I'll show you why. When you fold it up, you're going to go right up to the edge, and you're going to go ahead and get your bone folder, press that down, and now I have a tendency to do this. You can just trim this out. Okay. I do have a tendency to overcut or overfold, I'm not sure which. And then what you have is this extra flap up here. Now that is going to be to tuck in once you get the sides folded in, and I'll show you. And it just strengthens your folder. It makes it a little more secure, and it also gives it a nice clean edge. So the first one, now I used to do this by 4s and then trim off the 4th one, because to get the right fold, at least the way I do them, to get the right fold, you have to have an odd number. So you can go 3, 5, 7, but you can't do 4, 2, and 4. I mean, unless you don't. I've done it, but it just makes it better. So if you fold this in first, okay, to your center, toward the center, I mean. Now, because this is 2.5, okay, on this one it's a little easier to gauge because it's 3 inches, but I mean on the 12 by 12, okay, because it's 3 inches, you just go in about 1 inch. With this one, you gotta guess a little bit. So what I did was I took this in like this to about the halfway point, okay, and then I fold that down, trying to make sure I'm as even on both sides as possible. And then I take it in and I just fold that back in on itself. Okay. Oops. And you gotta be careful, otherwise you will go crooked, like I just did. I meant to do that. I was just giving you an example of what not to do. You may see me do things like that on purpose a lot because, I'm thoughtful that way. I want to make sure everybody gets it down. It's a joke. I'm just kidding. Now, since I got it off a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and do a trim here. Okay. But once you fold it in, what you're going to do is you're going to bring this back out. And you want to make sure this piece is going inward, okay? Because what's going to happen, you don't want it going this way, okay? You want it going in. Because what's going to happen is when we fold this up, okay, we're going to go like this, then this, I folded this off just a little bit, I can tell. I'm going to trim just real quick here. This is not quite, I don't know what I did, but it is fixable. Okay, so when you go up, what you're going to see here is that you're going to tuck this in, and it's going to sit right there, okay? And it'll be easier once we do this. We're going to clip this corner. I should have probably did this first. It's the first time I've taught anybody else how to do these, so forgive me if I'm a little bit off. You just need a tiny bit off that corner so it'll fold in a little easier, okay? And then, all right, let's go ahead and do this side and make sure I've got this one right, because I may have done this one off as well. Again, you're going to try to go about halfway, okay, in, and then fold this one. I should have folded that first, I usually do. And then down, straight. Okay. How well did I guess this time? It still needs a little trim. Really doesn't hurt if you don't trim this, but I'm just doing it for the sake of doing it correctly. Okay, so what we're going to do is make sure that it can fold. Okay. Looks like that side was okay. I don't know what I did on the other side, but okay. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to make sure you can tuck this in onto itself like that. Okay. Yeah. Once I get this like this, sometimes I have to redo my fold just a little bit just so it evens out. And I've never made any with this brown cardstock. It is really, really kind of firm and thick. It's almost like a, it doesn't want to quite fold correctly for me. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and glue. Just run some glue. You don't need a ton. Okay. Then this part's a little bit awkward. Get ready to get a little glue on your fingers. I mean, I've kind of gotten down my own little method of doing it. I hold them down like this, and then bring my thumb to the one side, and then bring my finger to the other and hold them down that way, because they are a little bit awkward. Just go ahead and press. Get my dry wipe here so I can hold that down. Make sure it's holding. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do a thin line of glue on this top part here. Okay. And tuck that in. And you're going to be tucking it past just that first flap, okay? Get my dry wipe, hold it down. Pretty painless, right? Now this paper was a little bit persnickety with me, but other than that, this is how I make them. Okay, so now you have your little expandable pocket. I could use a little trim on this side, because when I folded it, you saw how it was fighting with me, so that's okay. See, if I'm using these for my ephemera, this doesn't matter at all. I could care less. I mean, I'm just using them as a place to put my stuff. So, okay. So there's the first one. And throw these away. And now I'm going to make a 12 by 12 for you guys. Okay, so 12 by 12. Now, I was going to show you, if you're making this has writing on it, which I didn't. I'm going to use this here instead. If you're making this for a journal, you can use one with writing on it, of course, but you got to make sure that when you fold it, so you sit it, when you have the writing facing you, if you turn it over so that it's upside down, okay, then when you fold it, you're going to have the right side up. So when you cut it, you need to make sure that you cut it so that the part that's going to show, okay, in your journal, which I guess it wouldn't matter which side you glued down, but you want that side that's upside down to be the side not showing, okay? So you would use this side. But for this, I'm going to use this one here because for right now, because it'll just be easier for me to mark it up and stuff for you guys. I do want it, oops, I got to switch my template. I do want it to be going up and down on this design, so I'm going to turn it that way. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my template to draw my line. Being careful not to mess it up again. I think I messed up when I drew my lines before. Okay. And as I told you from the beginning, this template made by the out of the 12 by 12 sheets is going to be 5.5 on your height. That's going to be your folder, okay? And then it's 3 inches on each side, okay? And it's a T, as you can see. Okay. Now that I have that, I'm going to trim it and cut this out. I'm kind of shaky. It's really early in the morning, and I've already been up since it's 7:20 right now, and I've been awake since 2:30. I get up really early because I get my husband ready for work. I get up, I pray, I read my Bible, drink some tea or some coffee, and just spend time answering any messages I've gotten, you know, and just reading my Bible and all that good stuff. So that's my morning, and then I wake him up and he gets going, and I get to work on this fun stuff that we get to do. Okay, I'm trying so hard to cut a straight line. Can you guys tell? All right. Yeah, so some days, because it's summer, some days, depending on his schedule, like today I had to have him up by 3:15, and he was out of here by 4:20, but some days he's out of here by, like, I have to get him up at 3, and I will get up, those days I usually get up around 1:30. Today I actually slept in a little bit, because I like to have a couple of hours in the morning to myself, where I can get him set up and get myself feeling like I'm, you know, awake and all that. So yeah, there's days when I get up at like 1:30. But I like it. I do it. I mean, it's my own choice. I do that because I want to. Does anybody else out there, early risers like me? Let's see. Okay, so now on this one, now you know you've got your 12 by 12. And the reason we do 5.5 on this portion is because that gives you that extra space there to do your fold. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and fold that over. Now this one is gonna go into one of my journals. These are super cute when they're decorated. They really are. They're very pretty, and like I said, so practical for the person who owns the journal afterwards. So I love making these and putting them in I usually, for the most part, look at that. I think I cut that off. Oh well. I'm trying, guys. Anyway, no, I think they're really cool for whoever purchases my journals. So I like to put them in there. Now this is a little easier. If you want to grab your ruler, which I can do that. Or, oh yeah, duh, I could use this. And then this way you can see, this is 3 inches, so then you kind of have a spot where you can go over and do your fold. Okay. A little bit, makes it a little bit easier. The problem is I didn't figure out the math on how much the fold on the 2.5 inches is for each one, for the 3. I should just do that math, and then I wouldn't have to worry about it. So we have this side, and then we're going to use, again, I'm going to use the mat. Can you guys see good? We're good? Hopefully. I sometimes pull it back too far. I feel bad when I do that. Okay. Go over 1 inch. And if you hold it right on that line, because it looks like it's too far over on this side a little bit, but if you hold it, that paper rolls down right into that inch, okay? So don't be worried that you're in the wrong spot if it seems like you are, because you're not necessarily in the wrong spot. Okay? I'm gonna fold over. Okay. All right. So now we're ready to go, and we're going to go ahead and do that little trim here in the corner. And you know what? I think I'll use this. I'm kind of clumsy with doing this, but I'm going to try because I want it to be as close as possible to what I just did on the other side. Okay. I'm especially bad at it when it comes to, I'm so right-handed. I had somebody ask me if I was right or left-handed. My dad, I can't remember the word, I'll say it wrong, ambidextrous. He could use both hands, and it was so cool. Not me. I'm totally right-handed. So I even have to turn it better so I can actually do it correctly. Yeah, I always used to love to watch him do stuff because he ate with his right hand, he wrote with his left hand. I think he played basketball with both, and then he was a pool player, you know, billiards, and he played with both hands. Yeah, he was good. So we got the glue. You'll run it up the sides here. Get it on the edges. You don't have to go over like I am. My paper's moving. I kind of keep the glue on this part a little bit away from the edge because I don't like it when it ends up getting on the inside when I press it down. So I try to kind of pull it over because it's going to spread when you lay that down anyway. You know, I've gotten it there and I can get it out, but it's just, you know, it's kind of a hassle. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hold these down. Hold it. You know what? That even works better, holding it down. And make sure that your folds are on the inside, okay? So that when you put your top in there, it'll go in right. Now with this part, when you're getting this pressed in, you know, make sure that you're straight as possible. As you can see, my cutting stinks. Look at that. Either that or my folding. One of the two. But again, it can be trimmed, so it's not gonna be a huge deal. And also, this is gonna be decorated, and those little things like that just don't really hurt. So we're gonna go ahead, before I fold this in, I'm gonna trim along there, and then I'm gonna trim right here. I'm only worrying about it because this is going into a journal. And what I'm doing is I'm doing a little snip again, since I ended up squaring that off there. Okay. I hope that I did that in the camera view. All right. So now we're going to open it up. Look at there. You've got your little pocket. These are fun, right? I think they're pretty cool. And once you decorate one and you get it into your journal, I think you'll really like them. Because you know how people love to find goodies inside their journals. Well, this can be just full of fun stuff. Okay. All right. So now we've done one of the small and one of the large. Okay. You can see the difference in the sizes. I had mentioned doing one of the bigger ones. I think I will with one of these. If you take a 12 by 12, if you like this size for larger ephemera, I wasn't going to make one of these, but I think I will real quick. These are super easy. I've seen Tina do these. She's even done these as floating pockets in the journals. I don't even worry about the edge thing. This is just for the sake of showing you guys right now. This paper is out of a pad that I got on sale. It was a holiday pad. It's got all these, or a seasonal pad, and it's got all these different season type things. And so I went ahead and brought this along because these are what I make most of my ephemera folders out of, is this paper, because I never ever use it for anything else. So it was just in there and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna use it for this. I'm fiddly today, I apologize. There we go. Okay. So now all we need to do is fold in our sides on both sides evenly. Now what, I do something, I don't know if anybody else, but it bugs me when this big old flap is in the center. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. So I glue one side down, and then that way I don't have to get stuff caught in there. So you're just going to fold both sides same way up to that little cut, okay, and try to get it even. This thick paper is so hard to get it not to fold in on itself when you're trying to fold it. You got to really hold it tight. But that's okay. We love paper. Whether it's stubborn, persnickety or not, we love it, right? Right. Oops, see, I tore that one. I accidentally tore it when I was folding it, so, or when I cut it, so it's okay. I'll just go ahead. Redo the fold. It's good enough for this experiment or this example. I'm tearing everything. I tore the paper. I tore the phone. So anyway, when you fold it up, you've got a little folder, okay? So we're just going to glue that together. That'll just be one more folder for me. Okay. And like I said, what I do at this point is I glue. Can you see that? I glue one side on the inside. Okay? Because that way, like I said, it's not flapping around when I close it. Because that really, I've had stuff get caught in there and it's annoying. So it's just kind of easier to glue it down, because then when you open it, you know, it's sealed. Can you see that? Oops, I tore it apart. But you know what I'm saying. It'll glue here. Just give me a second. Okay. I'm pulling on it too soon. Anyway, it's sealed there on the sides. Okay? And that way you've just got your opening. And like I said, these hold a lot. You can also do the fold like we did on the others, on both sides when you cut it. Okay? You can also do this fold, the accordion type fold, and then it expands a little more. Okay. I also, just as a little, just information, you guys don't have to utilize it, but I also buy these, okay, these expandable folders I bought at Walmart, okay, and they open up. What I do is I tape them because they'll tear. But then, like with this one, I have it open, I mean the full folder. What I usually do is I cut them down, okay, and then I use them to hold ephemera in my little folders, okay? And I keep those on my desk. And then I also, of course, have these plastic folders, plastic drawers, and I have these plastic cases that toolbox type cases that I bought that I use. So yeah, so let's go ahead and, where are we at on time? We're perfect. Okay, so I'm going to use my template, and I'm gonna do this page here that has the writing on it. Okay, so I want this part to be folded up on my flap, okay? So I'm gonna make my T on the upside down part and hope that I'm correct in what I'm saying. Forgive me if I'm not, but I'm pretty sure if you put your paper upside down, I'm pretty sure I'm right. When you fold it back up, it's going to be the right side up. Okay, let's get that squared off. I'm having a hard time, and I know they're the same size, so it's got to be me just letting it move. I should probably be clipping it, and then that way it wouldn't move, and I wouldn't have this struggle. I'll go ahead and do. I should have probably done this on the back side too. Oh well, too late. Already started. Okay. You're probably seeing what I'm seeing. I see that's off just slightly. Okay. Go across, and then there we go. Okay. And we're going to watch Tara stumble through cutting again. And now I've made it worse because I put it on the side with the print, so it's harder to see. Do you guys do stuff like that? Make me feel better and say yes, okay? There we go. Be careful when you're going up that you don't do what I did and cut up too far into your corner, because it's like super easy to do that. And this paper is so thick, you know, that it kind of can cause you to tear it the wrong way. Okay. So, is anybody gone on vacation this summer and done anything fun? I would love to hear about it. I've been thinking, we've been talking about possibly going up north for a few days. Going up north in Arizona is such a wonderful experience because, well, it's beautiful for one thing, but also it's so nice. The weather is amazing in the central and northern parts of our state. You know, it's just perfect. Arizona used to be the best kept secret, and now we're very popular because people have realized that for the most part it's just beautiful here, and the weather is, and so yeah, I was spoiled and got to grow up here. And as I've mentioned before, I was born though in a small little town. I mean, I was born in Kokomo. We've talked about that. I mentioned that. I was born in Kokomo, Indiana, but I was raised on a 40-acre farm in a town called Galveston. And look, guys, I cut it the right way because that's how I want it to be. Yay! Had to throw that in. But yeah, I was raised on a 40-acre farm in Galveston. My grandmother and my grandfather on my mom's side started the farm back in, let's see, my mom was 9 years old when they moved there. So she was born in 1937. So they bought the farm in 1946. And it was kind of cool because neither of them actually knew that they, or neither of them knew what they were doing. They were both city kids. My grandpa and both my grandma and my grandpa were musicians, and you know, just your average folks. My grandmother, of course, she was well trained she was a concert pianist. She was a concert trained pianist from the time she was a little girl. And my grandpa played, and I'm not exaggerating, this is true, he actually played all these. He played the piano, the drums, the guitar, the banjo, the ukulele, and the harmonica. Yeah. He was a very accomplished musician, and he was never famous or anything. You know, he was just an average guy, but he loved music, and both of them could sing, and that's, you know, kind of how they got together. And when they were living in the city, one day they had 3 kids so far, and when when my mom was 9 years old, they decided, they had 2 older boys and my mom, they decided, let's move, let's buy a farm, and let's move to the farm. And they did, and it's pretty cool. They actually built the house after they built like a little log cabin, basically, and then they began to build the house. Okay, my grandpa, I still have. Hold on a second. I gotta show you guys this. This is cool. You'll like it. Oh, if I can find it. Where is it? I have 2 of them, but my grandpa actually made his own tools, and this was one of his hammers he made. So my grandpa made this, and it comes apart. But it works really good, and I actually use it a lot. That's why it's nearby. I have another one that's longer and has like the ball peen on one side and the flat on the other. But yeah, this was made back in like 1946. So yeah. And anyway, so he made his own tools and proceeded to build his family a home. So they all lived in the 1-room cabin until he built the farmhouse. And to me, the farmhouse is, you know, that was like where I was raised pretty much my whole life. Well, until I was 10, or I guess 9. We moved up when I was 9 into town. My mom sold her portion of the farm, but yeah. So I grew up on this 40-acre farm in Galveston, Indiana, where we baled our own hay. We had, my grandpa had 10-acre fields of alfalfa and I can't remember what the other one is, but anyway, and we baled hay every summer. And even after he passed away, my uncles, my cousins, and then they taught my dad to build, or to bale hay, and then every summer I would play on a swing that hung in a tree outside of my grandma's kitchen window, and I would watch my cousins and my dad bale the hay. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And I would lay in these fields of alfalfa and clovers, and we would, and during the summer, I would lay out in these fields and watch the stars, and that was my childhood. It was pretty neat. We used to do all kinds of fun things. I made, oh, and the cool thing is we had a creek at the back of our property. So me and my grandma used to go down to the creek. She loved to fish, and we would fish in the creek, and I just loved it. It was so much fun, so much fun. That was down behind the barn, and yeah. So for me to go up north here in Arizona is kind of, it's kind of like going home, because there's so much green and the weather's so beautiful, you know. Even though it's mountains, it's a lot of greenery, a lot of trees, which is what I was used to as a child. And even though I love the valley where I live, I will say that when I go up north, I feel I love it. I never want to come back down to the valley, because I love the nice weather, and I love the greens, the trees, the plants, everything you get to see. So go ahead and do our little glue here. How do you guys like these? Let me know in the comments. I think you're gonna like them if you try making some for your ephemera, especially because they're so handy for us who make, you know, who have all these digikits we cut up, and you know, even our vintage stuff, you know, just organizing it. It's just a nice, fun way to organize. And I only use these. I used to use these solely, okay, as my ephemera holders, and then I started to get, you know, nicer cases and stuff. But when I'm working on a project, for me, having things right next to me is the best. And so I enjoy having these in those little, like I showed you, the other expandable folders, because otherwise, you know, I'm constantly having to go look for things, and you know how that can be. So, okay, so that one's ready for me. I think I'll probably end up using this. That one's ready for me to use for a journal. I mean, I can decorate it now. Isn't that pretty? And I'm going to go ahead here real quick and mark these guys, because that's really why I came on doing this, is I wanted to make sure and make me some new ones for, I've bought a few things that I need to have a place to put them. Now what I also do though with these, I store them in my, even in my cases that I have, I store them inside of there in these. So it's just, I find them extremely practical for my use, and I thought that somebody else might as well. I'm going to go ahead and mark all of these. Are you guys making these with me? Did you give it a try, or are you going to wait and do it later? Let me know in the comments. I really want to hear from y'all. I enjoy when people tell me what they think. If this is the type, I mean, if this is something you enjoy doing together, or I wanted to come up with a way to have a mass make day without calling it a mass make. I feel like I'm stealing somebody else's, you know, name. Tina calls it mass making. I know, I think I've seen it on Gail's as well, but I don't know what else we could call it. Hey, I have an idea. If you guys have any thoughts on like what you'd like to see each, you know, like I'm trying to come up with a list of like a mass making day, a journaling day, craft with me day, you know, those kind of things. I've been working on a list, because right now I'm just making what comes to my mind, and I've made a list of things I'd like to work on, and I'm kind of just taking you guys along. But if you would like to help me, that would be awesome. I did have somebody yesterday, my friend Sonia, my sweet friend Sonia, asked me for a craft room tour. I don't really have a room. I have a space in my living room that I utilize, and then I have kind of got like a hallway that's behind me that goes into another room that we don't really use except for storage. And I've utilized that hallway as part of my storage area for my crafting supplies. And then I've also utilized a portion of that front room that we don't really go into except to get stuff out of. I have like a deep freezer, that I keep my frozen meats and stuff in. And then I have like, I use one side of it for some canned goods and stuff. So if I take you on a tour, you guys have to forgive me. It's not a room that we utilize except as storage, but it does have my books. So like all my vintage books pretty much are in there. And I've got them laid out in such a way, they look kind of messy right now because I was planning on cataloging and doing like a list of what I have, so that I could put some in my Etsy shop as pages, you know, because I have pretty good collection of vintage books, and I thought it'd be fun to sell pages, you know, out of them, and at a good price, of course. Yeah, I've been working on that, and so they're kind of like laying there because I haven't really been able, you know, you can only do so much in a 24-hour period, and sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but my mind, I heard this on NCIS, the crime show one time, and it reminds me of me. If you know the show at all, McGee said that Abby's brain was kind of like a pachinko machine, okay? Well, that's kind of me. Google pachinko machine and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's kind of like an idea drops in and it goes boing, 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 and it bounces around, and I think of about 10 more ideas, and you know, sometimes lose track of the first idea I had in the first place. Okay, that's kind of why I don't do more than one journal at a time, because if I do, I kind of forget about like what I'm doing on if I try to start one, I can't do it. My focus is just not the kind of focus that I can do that. So yeah, but anyway, I think it'd be really cool if we did have like a mixed media day, or, and I mean, we would totally, okay, I'm bearing my soul, we would totally be learning the things together. I am not a professional. I am putting that disclaimer out there, total transparency. I hope you will forgive me. I came on YouTube not to, I didn't come on here to say that I'm the best at anything. I came on here to say, hey, let's be friends, let's craft together. I'm alone over here crafting in Coolidge, Arizona. How about we hang out? That's really why I'm here, and I hope y'all will join me. I hope I'm entertaining enough to watch, and that I do teach you a few things. Like today, this is a tutorial. It's a simple little thing, but things like mixed media, I would be learning with you. If you want to learn stuff together, that'd be awesome. And then after we learn it, yes, I could do some tutorials on it, but I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. Maybe you guys can, you know, comment and tell me some ideas of what you would like to see be our schedule, our video schedule, because that would give me a focus, that's for sure. If I knew what everybody wanted. I'm so grateful to people like my friend Sonia, who has been so supportive of this channel and from the beginning, and she's also she's given me suggestions, and she's spoke up and told me if she likes an idea, and I truly am grateful for that. So thank you, my friend. So we're gonna fold this again, and go ahead, let me see what time it is. Okay, I'm gonna fold this over. I was thinking I'll do this one, you know what, actually, since these are just for my ephemera, how about if we go ahead and look at, let me see here, look at decorating one so you guys can see kind of what I'm talking about. Hold on one second. I'm going to pause for just a moment and get something real quick. I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. I went and found a few things to play with. I was choosing the picture and I was thinking, I wasn't sure which girl I wanted on the front of this particular pocket. Oh my goodness, I wish I could hear you guys right now. Seriously, they're both beautiful. She's just so sweet, you know, and then this one has the flowers, and she's so sweet too, but she's got the flowers, and I was torn. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tear both of them down, okay, and then I'll decide. Since we're not live video and I can't ask you guys, I'm going to have to, let me know in the comments if you want which one you would have chosen. I'd love to know which one you would have chosen, because I'm sure there is those out there who are cheering me on one way or the other. So we'll see. I'm not sure yet. Let me look. This one I really was focused on because of she's got the flowers, and the paper of course has the flowers and butterflies and all that, but that little sweetheart with her hands folded in just is amazing to me. She's so beautiful. So we have that one and that one. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with her. I'm going to go ahead and distress this a little bit. Let me find my handy dandy distressing. Okay, and I'm doing the brown, but you can also of course use other colors like I've shown you on some of my other stuff. I do you know, a variety of colors on my distressing. I just thought because the paper, the color of the paper, I would stick with the brown, but we could also utilize more of a red, you know, or even a pink. There's some pink in there. So yeah, don't let it limit you at all. Do not be limited. Just go for it, you know. And if you buy these like I do with the DigiKit, you know, you can always print out another one. If the color you choose isn't exactly what you wanted, you can always change that. It's not a big deal. Just print out another page and, you know, do something else. I'm just lightly yellowing her just a tiny bit more to kind of, I went a little heavy on the hand, but it'll be okay. And now I'm going to lay stuff down and see. Now these here are actually vintage. They are Turkish crochet. I received from a lady I buy stuff from on, her name's Barbara, and I get things from her off of Facebook. I'm going to go ahead and brown this a little bit more with some ink. Actually, I think I'll use my archival, or my StazOn, I mean. But I have to do it really light because you don't want to, I'm just giving it a little extra aged look is all, which you've seen me do with my flowers and stuff. I brought some of these little flowers along because I was thinking I've done this before with another one of these folders and it looked pretty cute. Where I kind of put these flowers on it around the picture, you know, in different places on the picture. It looked pretty. So okay, just getting it a little bit grungy. All right, now, I was thinking of also, you know what, let me do something real quick here. I think this might be prettier if we do. I'm covering these up, you know, in this Arizona heat. These dry out pretty quick if I don't cover them. So let me get my other, here we go. I like to do this to these little flowers a lot. because they really are a nice little accent on stuff. And then grab something here real quick. I'm right here, guys. Looking for my oh yeah, I moved them into here. Okay, I'm gonna use these to make them make it have a tiny bit of bling. Let's see if we can get a pretty little flat back here. Oops, it's flipping on me. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and glue. Just put a drop of glue here. What do you know, the glue's still moving for me. I haven't used it in a while. And then you just press, pull that down. Okay. Probably should have used some hot glue to probably work better, but let's see. I hope I don't need to. I'm not even sure if my hot glue gun's on. Let me see. Yeah, it is. Which isn't a good thing, because that means I left it on all night, because I did not turn it on this morning when I got up, so. Okay, it's gonna hold. If you have little folds in these flowers, you can just kind of tuck them back up. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna put that. I'm gonna do this here. Actually, I think I will use the hot glue because it'll work. I think it'll work better probably. Don't need a lot. Okay, there's one. We're gonna put, see, it's gonna go on the side of the picture. That'll be one thing. And you know what I'm gonna do before I even do that? I'm gonna go ahead real quick here and distress. Let me see where we're at. Yeah, I want to make sure and not hold you guys past a certain time. Oh, I don't want that one. I want this one. And I'm going to go ahead and distress this. Not every, I don't know of anybody else I've seen who does this, but when my ink starts to act up, if I don't have, like right now I don't have time, I just take a water spray bottle a little and just dab it, and it just picks it right back up. And then I also have a refill where I'll put some more in there, but I'll do that later. For right now, the water spray bottle works good. So that's a little tip. If you ever have your ink drying out and you haven't thought to try that, it does work, and it doesn't hurt anything. To just give it a little spritz, get it wet again. I just wanted to make sure and go around this. And because this part's going to show if they open it, see, when you open it like that. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a little bit on the corners here. I warned you, I'm a distresser. I love it, love it. Okay, all right. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and glue this little baby down. And I think I'm gonna do her, I was thinking to do her a little bit off to the side, but I'm not sure. Let me see. Yeah, I think I'll do her just a little off to the side here. Okay. And then we have our little flower ready, and I'm going to get one ready for this as well, but I'm going to do a little bit, I was going to look here and see if I don't have any. I thought I might have a little bit coffee dyed, because I've coffee dyed these before as well, and they work really good like that. But I think just that'll be fine. Okay. Trying to hurry because I want to be done within an hour. I do not want to take it past that. So I'm I'm decorating quickly, and I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I decorate better when I do it quickly than I do when I'm taking my time. You know, I tend to overthink things, like I've said, and I was thinking about using a bigger one for the center of this. Yeah. I have a tendency to overthink stuff when I'm decorating, and if I just do it, it seems to work out better for me. I'm going to use the hot glue on this one and try not to burn myself. You only need a teeny bit. Put it on there. Hold that down. Go around. And this one I don't have to go around the edge so much because it's more closed in. The other one had that opening there in the center that was pretty big, and I wanted to make sure the glue got on the cloth. So now I'm going to glue that just so the petals kind of go the opposite of the other petals. Okay. All right. Get that off there. The reason I did that is because I wanted, and because this is going to go on there, it can actually kind of hang off a little bit, and I was thinking that it'd be pretty if it were like this. So yeah, so I'm going to do that, and then also I was going to make a tiny line at the bottom. Remember when I showed you this? If you guys watched the video with the journal cover, I had shown you the cloth from Walmart, the towels. That is this, coffee dyed. And I just tear it, like I said on there, I tear it down in strips, and I even sew it up the center and make ruffles. But this time I'm going to attempt to do the ruffle like I do normally with glue. I don't always do this, but when I first started, I didn't know really how to do the ruffle, so I would just come in, and I like this, actually. I like the look. When it's all said and done, it looks very old and sloppy and kind of like it's messed up, you know what I mean? Like it's not perfect, and I just squeeze it in on itself and make this little ruffle. And I thought it'd be kind of cute to have one hanging off the bottom of this one, just because this looks so vintagey, the paper does. And we'll see if I was right. Okay, we're gonna see. I've seen Tina do ruffles like this, and it's funny, she does it so well, and I go to do it and I have to use both hands because for some reason I just can't get like to go like this. I can't do it as easily. I don't know why. Okay, you can do it with the hot glue. With this cloth, because it's so thin, I like to use the wet glue personally. Because I'm gonna put this here, I'm not gonna put the ruffle all the way to the end. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut it down at an angle. I like to do this angle cut. I think it looks kind of cute to kind of hang down. And then I'll do just a little bit more here to get that last portion up. Okay, wipe that off, and then I'm gonna cover, see, like that. So let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I want to make sure and not get it in the wrong places. Yeah, this will probably, it might go into that journal that I made here on the channel. It's very possible, because of the color scheme, that I may end up putting that one, this one, into the journal. So we're gonna do that. Okay. And we're gonna sit this one. Should we put that one on that side? No. Or up here maybe? What do you guys think? No. Could go right there. I wonder if I can still, nope, it's down. I'm not gonna worry about it. That's kind of cute. Because this is gonna lay on the page. You got to take into account it's going to open, but I don't think, because it's going to be flat, I don't think that's going to really matter if this one hung down a little bit. But my intention was to put it more up here and kind of layer the flowers. So I think I'll go ahead and stick with what I first intended to do. You know, most of the time my first instinct on things is right, and when I change my mind, usually I regret it, so I'm going to stick with that idea. And I'm going to put this as a layer on top of the lace, or the cloth, and on top of the other flower, just kind of. And then here's, I just had this thought. Let's see. Do a couple of these and watch. I hope this works. This I just thought of, so we'll see. On my other one, I just used these little flowers that I did for my other journal, and they looked really cute by themselves. But when I was looking for stuff, as I paused the video, I found the Turkish antique lace flowers, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to use those. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to do, let's see, get the tiny ones out here. I love these little things, they're so cute. And I'm going to try to glue this quickly and painlessly. Okay. I got a little bit of glue, a little more glue than I needed, I think, but that's okay. Did I go the wrong way on that one? Probably, knowing me, I did. I glued it on the wrong side. Here, I need new glue. Okay, just a little bit. There we go. Okay. And now what I was thinking, these would look kind of pretty. There. Yeah, there's a good spot. Right there. And let's see. We want to get it in the right spot, right guys? But I don't want to cover her sweet little hands either, so yeah, but I'm going to put it right here inside that cloth. Hold it down so it stays good. Oops, I just dropped my glue gun, of course. There we go. Okay, look at that. Isn't she pretty? One last little touch I wanted to do. I absolutely love this gold. And so what I do is, to get it to really spread out sometimes, what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of water. And then it'll spread more easily for you. I also like to just do it by itself, but this just kind of helps you to paint it on. You know, it's paint. It's meant to be used with water. But as you can see, that gold around the edge just kind of really highlights it. Okay. Oops, I got a little bit right there. Oh well, I like to edge the gold around the paint, or the picture anyway, so I'm gonna. And no, I don't worry about it. I just take my finger and I spread it out. I'll fix that. I'll take a little bit of water, run my finger right here, and just kind of smooth it over a little bit so that the gold kind of blends, and you get a little bit of a halo effect around her, because like I said, that glue will dry, I mean that water will dry, and then you've got the gold left over, you know, and it just looks kind of pretty. I don't know of anybody who doesn't like a little gold, but anyway, yeah, so there's our girl. What do you think? And that can go into the journal. You glue the back, and then you've got, you know, you've got plenty of storage space there for more ephemera. And note to you guys and to myself, always make sure and do your gold around your picture first if you're going to do that. The only reason I added it was because I accidentally got some on there anyway. So, but yeah, let me know what you think of today's video and of these fun little pockets, of expandable pockets for your journal and for your ephemera storage. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for sticking with me to the end. God bless each and every one of you. Please hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed hanging out with me today, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.